1989 National F-409TM in for servicing. The problem is speed 1 doesn't work, speed 2 is slow, speed 3 works with a loud noise. Speed 1 is barely moving. Speed 2 oscillation is turned on. Oscillation knob is missing. Speed 3 still strong enough with some motor whine. But that spin down is fast. It must be a little stiff. There is so much dust. It doesn't look like it's been cleaned a day in its life. Pretty stiff. Sure, the lubricating oil has gummed up. And there's debris in the bushings. So I will need to flush the motor as well. Flush out all the old oil and debris from the oil wicks, and then afterwards put new oil. And I'll have to tackle the rust on the shaft as well. Rust on the front shaft has been kind of removed. The rear has to be de-rusted as well and degreased. Holy cow! That is really worn out. I'll clean the shaft first and then decide. Can feel a transition here and there though. When I run my fingers over these parts, it still feels smooth. So there is some life left. Using 99% isopropyl alcohol to thoroughly soak the front bushing and oil wick. Notice there's a bit of glue tack to prevent any liquids from spilling out. Empty the syringe in there. Take some more, make sure we thoroughly soak the whole entire oil wick. Then we apply some on the bushing itself. Make sure it goes down the inner surfaces as well. Really get to the whole thing. So I'm using a pipette to drip isopropyl alcohol to saturate the oil wick and apply it directly onto the bushing itself. You can see it's wet. Drenched with isopropyl alcohol, it is dissolving the old oil. Before I reassemble it, I will put oil on the shaft so that when it slots into the bushings, it will be lubricated. Use a 3-in-1 electric motor oil. Oil has been applied. Now I will put it back into the motor and I have to be really careful. There we go. Rotor is now all the way in. The tolerances are very tight. The slightest bit of movement will result in the rotor touching the stator. Next I will apply oil to the front. And then I will slide the front half in. Motor is in. But now you can see it's spinning pretty well. In and out play like this is normal, but if it moves up and down or side to side, it indicates excessive wear of the shaft or bushing, and that is not good. So I'm going to use one hand to hold the shaft, the other hand to hold the motor, and move the shaft left to right and up and down to feel if there is any unwanted play. Then I will do the same thing for the rear of the shaft to test the rear bushing. Front of the shaft passed the test. There is no detectable play up and down or side to side. Rear of the shaft has also passed the test. We're going to perform the winding resistance tests and the insulation resistance tests for the National F-409TM's powerful modern motor. We're going to use my multimeter at resistance mode. And we're going to connect the black lead to neutral, and then we have 3 speed wires. Red is low, brown is medium, and white is high. So red should have the most resistance because it's the low speed, and white should have the least resistance because it's the high speed. And connect the red wire. 414 ohms. For medium, 357 ohms. And high, 239 ohms. Say that's roughly in the ballpark of good readings, although it has been a while since I've measured a powerful modern motor, but the values don't look out of place to me. It still looks good. Now we're going to do the insulation resistance test. We should not be getting any readings when we connect to low, medium, high or neutral. If we get any readings, it means the winding insulation is breaking down and leaking electric current to the motor casing. Low to ground, I am not getting any more reading. Good. Medium to ground, I am still not getting any reading. Good. High to ground, no reading. Good. Neutral to ground, no reading. Good. This motor has passed both electrical tests. The rear oil catcher has snapped, and the front one isn't much better either. There, it has cracked. So I'll need to order parts. You can't find the exact replacement, but I can find something that performs the same function and is very similarly shaped. New oil catchers are here. I've got those for the thin shaft motors, 8mm inner diameter, and those for the thick shaft motors, 10mm inner diameter. The 1mm at the start means it is 1mm thick. Now I'll install them on the front first. I'll then push it in. I think it is in a little too deep. It is a bit loose, but it should stay inside. And now for the one at the back, we will slip it in. It is in. Now we'll push it in all the way with a flathead screwdriver. Shit. There we go. Then we wiggle the shaft in and out a little, so it doesn't directly touch the bushing. Oil catchers have been reinstalled. Now we can reassemble the whole fan, put grooves in the gears and all of that, and also put in the cotter pin so it can hold the blade. Gears have been greased. Now let's reinstall the clutch cover. Now with the clutch cover installed and with the new clutch stem, there's much less wiggle. Wiring is all ready. Now I will put on the back plate for the final time.